Hello, I am Cem Kaya and today I will be presenting our work named MagniVR. Before the presentation, I would like to share a small video with you. Hello, I am Cem Kaya. I am a graduate from Sabancı University Computer Science and Engineering Department. In this project, we have noticed that people with low vision, it's very hard for them to use virtual reality technologies. Thus, we have developed a digital magnification application for virtual reality using Unity platform to enable them to utilize virtual reality technologies better.
I am Vahamert Ersoy. I've graduated from Sabancı University. I majored in computer science and engineering. The tool we have developed is an accessibility tool in which our goal was to allow people with low vision to navigate through 3D space in virtual environments easily. Our tool consists of two parts, the magnifier, in other words the camera, and the display screen. The users are able to place the display screen and the camera in various locations, giving them many configuration options. As of now, there are a total of 9 configuration options. In addition to this, they are able to change the size of the display screen and the FOV.
I'm Murat Karaca. I'm graduate from Sabancı University in Computer Science and Engineering. To conduct our tests, we developed a test environment that includes 3 categories. One of them is menu navigation, which includes various types of menu navigation such as game menus and also typing in keyboard. Another test type is collecting objects. We try to build an environment for finding objects. The last type of test is shooting these objects moving, and also testers try to shoot them. We conduct these tests with low vision in various cities such as Istanbul, Ankara and Eskişehir. We conduct people who are low vision and we try to fix our bugs via their contribution.
So, what is MagniVR? From the user's perspective, it's an accessibility tool. From the developer's perspective, it's a self-contained Unity SDK which is open source and very easy to integrate any Unity project which utilizes OpenXR. It consists of 3 main parts: the video camera, the video display, and the control menu. It is highly configurable. Before designing this tool, we had to understand what kind of difficulties that people with low vision have while using virtual reality. The main type of problem we have noticed is they have very difficult time navigating through menus. The second most difficult activity in virtual reality is interacting with small or very far away objects in virtual reality. Some of our users also had difficulty in depth perception and color perception. According to World Health Organization, a significant amount of people have low vision, so should be addressed in such technologies. Before we started working on MagniVR, we did some literature review. There were some bespoke virtual reality environments for people with low vision, such as HCII and accessible news reading. There were also a couple of virtual reality accessibility tools, such as MagniVR. One of them is VR Assist, which is an eye tracking magnifier and vision correction toolkit. And the most important accessibility toolkit is Seeing VR. Our tool enhances on their magnification lens tool. After our study, but before this presentation, Apple released their Apple Vision Pro headset, and that system also contains some accessibility tools as well. What does our tool feature? It features a display camera, a display screen, and a control panel.
Hello, I'm Murat Karaca. I'm a member of MagniVR team. For methodology of MagniVR, we had 18 participants in total. We conducted this study in 2 phases. In the first phase, we had 6 participants and only 3 of them were low vision. Only 3 configurations were available for both camera and display. Also, those configurations could not be changed by users. They were changed manually in the room. We had 9 tasks and categorized under 3 tasks. The goal of first phase was comparison of previous studies magnification tools, especially Seeing VR, and our proposed magnification tools, which were attached to user sense in terms of efficiency, effectiveness, and usability. We collected data from time charts and interview, as you can see in this chart, which is about completion of all tasks with 3 configurations. At the second phase, we had 12 participants who have low vision and fully configurable control menu, both display and camera. We already discussed the features of control menu. We reduced task rooms from 9 to 6 since we saw that the completion of whole tasks took lots of time and some rooms was repetitive of previous tasks. Therefore, we revised task rooms and we will discuss about these task rooms. Moreover, we collected data from questionnaires, both pre-test and post-test, and interview with participants. In the first phase, we also realized that we don't have any instructions for new builds in VR, and MagniVR control menu needs to introduce participants before starting actual tests. That's why we created a tutorial room which contains visual and voiceover instructions for beginners, such as introduction of VR controller, difference between touch and press action, MagniVR menu, etc. For task rooms, we classified tasks under 3 types, which are menu navigation, searching objects, and shooting. These are common in VR applications and games. And each tasks are comprising 2 challenges with visual and voiceover instructions. Like as you can see in the picture, the instruction says finding correct menu button in the task room. First type of test is about menu navigation, which simulates VR applications menu navigation and typing keyboard elements. Since most of the time menu navigations and keyboards try to maintain fixed distance and small font size, which are challenging in terms of accessibility for people with low vision. In this example, we make fixed distance menu buttons in this task room, which participants are not able to reach there directly. Also, for instance, we wanted to write "Let's make VR more accessible" in keyboard at that task room. The second type is about searching objects that replicates menu interactions in VR application. The goal of these task rooms is find the correct objects and put into the green area. We separated these rooms under organized and unorganized ways. In organized room, we put objects in their types, such as you can see in that picture, heads are in the table. In unorganized rooms, objects are mixed in the room, which participants need to search all over the room. The third type of test is about shooting, which resembling shooting actions in a VR FPS game. Participants have dart gun and try to shoot targets in these task rooms. Targets are classified under predicted, that is easy to shoot, and varied, which makes the circular move and hard to shoot.
I am Mert Ersoy, one of the authors of this paper, and I will summarize our results. Effectiveness of the tool was assessed with a pre-test questionnaire and a post-test interview with a questionnaire. Out of 12 of our participants, 10 of them indicated they benefited from the tool. The other 2 participants faced issues with general VR control and a lack of color correction options, which will be further discussed in the following slides. Out of all task groups mentioned in the previous section, participants have found the tool to be most useful in menu navigation. It should be noted that this doesn't mean the tool was found unsuccessful in other task groups. The comparison is merely relative. As mentioned before, the tool provides a total of 9 different configuration options, and as expected, participants were split in their preferences. One may assume there is a strong correlation between the dominant hand, the display, and the camera location, but we were not able to draw meaningful conclusions regarding this. Our results show one simply can't predict a user's preference with such information, further demonstrating the importance of versatility in VR and AR design. Depth perception should also be taken into account when designing for VR. Some participants had difficulty with head display as they were not able to comfortably interact with the VR environment. Occasionally, they would try to interact with the display itself rather than the virtual world. While an experienced user might not face such issues, VR design should always aim to appeal to beginners as well. With this in mind, we have summarized the feedback we have received from the interviews. To make it clear, these points don't only apply to MagniVR, they hold significance for all VR applications. First of all, menu interaction and control. While designing the menu, we assumed participants would have different preferences when using MagniVR. By that, we mean different display and camera placements, the ability to change the size of the display and magnification level of the camera and so on. And we were right, each participant had a unique way of using the tool. However, for some of our participants, interaction with the control menu wasn't intuitive, and they also faced issues with depth perception. This goes back to appealing to beginners. VR design should simplify things as much as possible, especially when it comes to menus. The main reason this project came into being was because of inaccessible menu interactions in current VR applications. It should be noted that in accessibility tools such as MagniVR, shortcut design is rather difficult because this is a Unity SDK that is designed to be used with other applications. This means the shortcuts should be designed in such a way that they don't cause conflicts with the main application's shortcuts. All VR accessibility designers should keep this in mind. In MagniVR's case, participants encountered challenges with only a single shortcut, the one used to summon the menu. The shortcut for the menu and the magnification toggle were too similar, and this led to confusion for first-time users. They would accidentally summon the menu when trying to toggle the magnifier on. The last point is a more specific issue, but a very important one nonetheless. Many individuals with low vision can only see well in very bright environments. Because of this, accessibility tools in more established mediums like PCs usually offer color correction and different contrast options. MagniVR didn't offer any, and some of our participants had difficulty viewing the test environment. Overall, MagniVR was very effective in aiding low vision individuals. 16 of our participants from both studies indicated it helped them navigate through 3D space in a much more comfortable and natural manner. There were challenges with controls, but they can easily be resolved in future iterations. Especially in a tool that is designed to be used with other applications, balancing the novice and power users' needs is a must. During the interviews, even before we asked our participants what their thoughts are on possibly augmented reality implementations, they all collectively expressed concern over the possibility of lack of accessibility options in such technologies. They also indicated they would like to use an AR counterpart of a tool like MagniVR. Looking at today's VR applications, we can confidently say their concern is valid. VR, AR, and spatial computing technologies will define the future. Today's expensive technologies will be tomorrow's everyday appliances. Only by adopting a more inclusive approach to design can we guarantee such technologies can be useful to individuals with impairment. We would like to thank Professor Kürşat Çaltay for guiding us through this project and granting us the opportunity to work on this project and grow as individuals. We thank Mustafa Yardımcı for providing us a test environment for our tests in Eskişehir. We would also like to extend our thanks to all of our participants who volunteered to be a part of this project and Sabancı University's PURE program.